Hello, everyone. My name is Crystal with Vintage Booth Pro. I am here again with John with Rhynes Wholesale, which is located in Ringgold, Georgia. So, John, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. Again, I'm John. I'm the office manager at Rhynes. And just a little bit about us, we've been a wholesale home decor and furniture supplier for small businesses across the country since 1964. And for three generations now, we've just been helping people, succeed at their dreams and be that consistent source for products across the country. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about the buying trends that we've been seeing in 2025.
Yeah, and been an interesting year so far. And I was going to say, if you feel like your sales are stuck a little bit, it could be because consumers are changing. You start hearing more terms like buy for life, more
Mhm.
sustainable living. Not everyone's moving towards that, but a lot of people are. So, John has found seven trends that they are seeing within their consumer, through small retailers and the consumers they work with. So we're just going to kind of go through each one and I'll ask you some questions about each one. And the first one is shoppers are more value focused. So tell me
Mhm.
more about that.
So that doesn't mean that shoppers are looking for the cheapest products. That to us means that people want their money to go the farthest. They want to know that their money, the way they spend their money, that it matters, whether that be that it's going towards supporting a small business or using or buying something that has multiple functions to it so they can use it for not just one thing. Or making sure that what they're buying is high quality so that it'll last much longer than something that's just short term.
Right. So are you seeing that the small retailers or booth owners, should we adjust our pricing or sourcing strategies to go along with that?
I don't know that the pricing is necessarily the issue. I think it's the context that can be an issue. So, giving people basically shortening the purchasing decision from what they see to them seeing it in their home. If you can give them more context of how they can use something, of what material something is made of, how you source the products, whether that was you bought this at an estate sale and you give them a brief history of the product so
Okay.
people feel like wow, this has been in someone's family for three or four generations, and now it's a part of my life. That
Right.
inherently gives it more value. So whatever you price it at, if you, as long as you can match that with context and meaning, you can definitely succeed there.
Kind of tell a story. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. The second trend is that social media drives foot traffic. So, can you talk about the connection between social media and in-person sales for vendors?
Yeah, I mean, most people spend their shopping online now. So if you meet them where they're at, it's much more convenient for them. They don't have to, plan the trip out of their home to go and meet you in your store. If you're listing products on Marketplace or on Etsy, or if you have your own website, that's even better. But if you're meeting customers where they're at, then they're much more likely to make a purchase. And even having a social media presence where you're creating these little touch points for them, where even if they don't buy something immediately, if you're leaving an impression multiple times and they start to feel a connection with you as a purchase or as a seller, as a company, eventually they will be able to make that connection between this person provides value and has high quality items to this is where I want to spend my money.
Right, absolutely. So, we talk about this quite a bit over in my group on Facebook, the Vintage Booth Pro community. So, posting on Facebook Marketplace, people have seen awesome results just posting that. And what you do is you direct people to go to the store. No one ever comes to your home or anything. You post your product, the price, and where you're located in the store hours, things like that. I also have had success with Nextdoor and Craigslist, which is,
Hmm.
an oldie but a goodie. But yeah, you gotta push a little bit further to get people in the store.
Mhm.
Let's see. Next one is merchandising is part of the experience. And I just want to say that we just had a great video. John walked us through some steps with visual merchandising. So I'll link that video. So in case you missed it, be sure to go back and watch that video after this one. So why is booth merchandising more important than ever?
So people, I think when you walk into a store and it feels chaotic, they're much less likely to stay in your store.
Yeah.
So if you create a more curated experience that tells a story, storytelling is seems to be a big through line for a lot of these points.
Hmm.
But if you give them the context and create an experience for someone, they're much more likely to be able to envision that piece either in their home or be able to see themselves using it. So it's about picking a category, picking a niche, and really just focusing in on that.
Right.
So you're not it, you're always going to feel like you're leaving some money on the table because you're always going to find that cool piece that you want to be able to have in your booth, but it just doesn't necessarily fit with your theme. So if you're focused, if you're telling a clear story, it's going to be much more impactful than if you just have 1,000 cool items in your mind,
Yeah.
but there's no real through line through any of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, with me being in marketing for way too long, 20 something years, narrowing it down to your buyer persona or your ideal customer profile, that's what
Mm-hmm.
all, major corporations are doing. They know who they are selling to and how to speak to that person. So that is a huge tip for booth owners to, if you have that one ideal customer, whether they love, farmhouse, whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
mid-century, focus on them and that's it. And you only sell to that one person. And the trick is a lot of times that ideal customer profile is yourself. So if you love something, you probably have great taste and go with that.
Well,
Um,
and if you know more about a piece or a
mhm.
category, you're going to be able to sell that, and you're going to be able to give the history and the meaning behind those pieces. So you really at least start with pieces that you're more familiar with, and not just anything that you find interesting.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. So the next one is convenience wins sales. So tell me more about what that means exactly.
And it kind of goes along with the social media driving traffic.
Hmm.
Convenience is just meeting the customers where they're at.
Yeah,
It's about providing an experience that gives as little friction in the sales process as possible.
yeah,
So even just being able to, if you have any kind of credit card processor in your store, using one that has Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or anything like that, where people can just have their phone, they don't have to have cash anymore.
right,
Um, just creating an environment where basically people expect ease now. They want as little, like I said, friction as possible in any of their shopping experiences. So if you just shorten that distance between them seeing a product and then buying that product and any steps that they have to take to get to that point, it's going to definitely increase your sales.
right, absolutely. And one tip on that is when you're posting furniture, always include measurements.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I forget. But I have a great booth staff that I can just send them, text them a picture, and if they have time, they'll run back and
Mm-hmm.
get the measurements for me. But anyway, you can make it easy. And what about pricing? We've talked about this a little bit in our community over on Facebook, but price tags can make a difference. I've been shopping and can't find a price tag for something, so I just, you can take it to the front desk and they'll call the booth owner, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just a lot. I mean, we can make it easier with the price tags and just make it big, make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that we can do to make it easier for our customers?
I mean, again, clear signage, like you said, the
Right,
clear sales price tags, any kind of information that you can include that helps make that purchasing decision, that's going to make it more convenient for the customer.
right, absolutely. All right, the next step is local, vintage, and sustainable equals in demand. And I think that, with what's happening with the tariffs and things like that, that is so true. And I'm very excited about that. So tell me more about how can vintage sellers use that to our advantage?
So I think that people want to know that their money is going towards a person,
Mhm.
that it's going towards something that they can see and connect with versus just a large company that's faceless, that's nameless. So if you've got the same two items and you can either buy it at Walmart or you can buy it from a local antique mall and it's the same thing, the same experience, inherently that antique mall is going to provide more value to a customer.
Right.
So if it's something you can provide again, with that clear signage, provide the context in which you purchased it from, give the history behind an item, show that that it was made sustainably, either like with furniture. If you can say that it was made with recycled wood that
Mhm.
is less harmful to the environment, that goes a long way. If you're kind of packaging, if you're using more sustainable products, and that's going to go a long way. It's all tied with your brand, with the messaging behind the products. That it's that shift from fast fashion to more
Hmm.
sustainability. People
Right.
want what they get
Absolutely.
to mean something.
Are you seeing any kinds of items or materials that people are gravitating towards?
Yeah, with furniture, we're seeing a lot more of the high quality or recycled wood. Just not something that feels cheap. They want it to look high quality and to feel high quality. And then those pieces that are a little bit more nostalgic. We're seeing a huge uptick in jadeite products and
Okay.
glassware, and I think that has a lot of nostalgia for people. So we have a huge demand for those items right now.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, it's something with history, with meaning, and with quality.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So the next tip is authenticity over perfection. So what does that mean in a retail context?
So if you've got a social media page and you're taking videos or pictures of your products or your store, show them the real you. It doesn't have to be super refined. It doesn't have to have 1,000 edits in every video. If you're just showing who you are and what you're providing, your shopping experience, that means a lot more to people than these highly edited, highly detailed videos that you might see from a larger company.
That's very true. And I will tell you, it is so hard to get on camera when you're posting it to friends and family. But sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone. So, yeah, that's a great tip. Let's see. And the last tip that you gave us is customers want freshness.
Mhm.
So, what can booth owners do about their booth feeling fresh?
Just changing things out. And this kind of again ties in with focusing on a specific category or niche. If you make your products more focused and you created a specific theme that
Hmm.
you're demonstrating at one time, you can change that out. So you can have that same large catalog of products in your storage, but just tie the theme in with what you're showing at once. So if you've got 100 products, maybe only show 50 of them at a time. And that gives you a lot of inventory to swap things out with. So even
Right.
if you've had it for a year, it still looks fresh and new to a customer.
Right. And with the funniest thing is when we move our stuff from the back to the front or the left to the right, it sells. And it's just like it was right there. How could you not
Yeah.
have seen it?
Yeah, just changing your layout of the store, even if it's all the
Uh-huh.
same products, if it's a different experience and if the customers see it with a fresh perspective, it may even look the same, just in a different layout. It's
Right.
still going to feel fresh and new to a customer.
Right. Absolutely. Do you have any recommendations on how often to rotate your inventory?
I would say probably at least every couple of weeks, maybe every month or so.
Hmm.
If you can tie it in with upcoming holidays,
Right.
large events for your community, if there's a graduation in the spring, summer, different kinds of community events, really just tying it in with something else that it if it extends beyond just your store and people can make a connection with it, that would it, the specific time frame of changing it is less important than connecting it with a customer experience.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm already ready for fall at this point of the summer. So I'm starting to pull out some of my fall items. I'm ready to get it in the booth.
Mhm.
But the main seasons or holidays that I source for are Easter, fall, Halloween, and Christmas, of course, is a huge one. I
Hmm.
think after you've been in the booth business for a while, you realize that some seasons just don't sell. And so it's
Hmm.
all trial and error as well. But I totally agree about freshness and keeping things updated.
Hmm.
So that's really it. And these are awesome tips, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help.
And John posted some of these on the Facebook group. And if
Mhm.
you want that, if you'll send a link or something that I can get people to sign up with their email, then I will post that in the video.
Hmm.
And yeah, keep these awesome tips going.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier last week's or last month's video with the
Mhm.
merchandising guide and all of those tips. So if you're interested in that, feel
Okay,
free to reach out, and I'd be happy to send that to you as well.
awesome. Yeah, very nice. Okay, well, very good. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next month.
All right, thanks so much, Crystal.
All right, and I will put that video up here so you guys can continue watching all these great tips from John.
All right, thanks.
See ya, bye.